No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of AEW Collision for July 22nd, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Very much appreciated that you're tuning in. Thank you for that. Now, let's get right into this show. We opened up Collision with the Saturday night's main event style promos that we've been seeing over the past several weeks. And then we had footage shown of Ricky Starks, the winner of the Owen Hart tournament, arriving with his championship that he won. It is an improvement over the FTW title. I will say that much. Now, we actually had an in-ring promo before we had a match, which is rare for AEW. We had Tony Shivani introducing Ricky Starks. Ricky had a lot of pyro. It was even brought up on commentary, $100,000 of pyro. Crowd was chanting, "You deserve it," even though the whole gist of this storyline is that Ricky Starks cheated. Crowd did not care. They love Ricky Starks. They were cheering him. He said anybody would have done the same thing as him. He got the job done by any means necessary. And Kevin Kelly has commitments in Japan right now, I think for like the next month or so, but I think he'll be back. Back to Ricky Starks. He talked about how sexy he is, how stylish he is, doesn't want to be a pillar. He wants to stand on his own. And speaking of Big G, Walter brought up Big G, who is in New Jersey at the show tonight. Big G just sent in $4. Shout out to Big Baller G. Says hello from Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Big G, and I wonder if Big G will be on the No DQ review. If not, we'll still hopefully hear from him regarding his perspective being there in person. But to my understanding, no Jeff Jarrett. And Big G has to be a very disappointed man that he did not get to bask in the glory of Double J, Jeff Jarrett, just like he did when Jarrett made his debut in AEW last year. As you could see, Big G completely mesmerized by the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett. But yeah, no Jeff Jarrett on this show. CM Punk interrupted Ricky Starks' promo. A very mixed reaction to CM Punk. Punk said he's not mad at all. He's actually kind of proud of Ricky because Ricky got the job done, and Punk was playing up the heel reaction because he took a shot at the New Jersey Devils, and he said he can live with the L. However, can Ricky live with the fact that he cannot beat CM Punk without cheating? He walked away, and Ricky said that his bag is as empty as the little red bag that CM Punk has been carrying around. Punk was offended by this. He returned, and he said that he is the real world champion, maybe channeling Ric Flair from 1991. Maybe we will see CM Punk versus MJF. I mean, it was pretty much confirmed here that Punk has that title in his bag. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus showed up. Christian got on the mic and said, what kind of man carries a championship that he did not win? Of course, he says this while he's carrying Luchasaurus' TNT title, but that's the joke, son. They said that they are the faces of TNT now and forever, and that led to Darby Allin coming down to the ring, and he said that he will become the new face of TNT when he beats Luchasaurus at All Out for the championship. He will put some respect back on the title. And then Darby proposed a tag team match for the main event, and Tony Khan told Tony Shivani that the match was official for the main event. Walter Cruz, the other big baller of No DQ, along with Big G, and Psycho Jet Black is up there too. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, says, "Sorry not letting Big G outball me, LOL. Like and share this video, feel merchy, hashtag stick to my shtick. Also, is this a Jersey thing or was Punk getting heat?" Well, remember when CM Punk was feuding with MJF was the babyface in New York. And keep in mind that Newark, New Jersey is like a half hour away from New York State, from Manhattan and the boroughs of New York. Not a far drive at all. Well, in traffic, it can be long. I know firsthand, but it's not actually that far. Like, you can see the New York City skyline from Newark Airport. And yeah, it's basically MJF territory. So they hate CM Punk. Even before what happened after All Out last year with the Elite, the fans hated CM Punk in New York because they're MJF fans in that territory. That's MJF's territory. We had footage shown of Andrade not being allowed to enter the building for the Trios tag team title match, which we'll get to here in just a few moments. By the way, I liked the opening segment. It did feel like it went on a bit long, but it's a change of pace because we usually don't get these long promos on AEW Dynamite. Sometimes they do drag, though. All right, first match of the evening was Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and Juice Robinson. They had the Guns with them. They went up against Action Andretti and Darius Martin. In other words, this was we have to rehab Bullet Club Gold after they lost to FTR last week. This was basically their chance to get over and get a win after that loss and build them back up. But it was a pretty solid match. Action Andretti did some of his interesting, flashy offense. Juice then caught him with a kick and gave him a neck breaker on the floor. Darius got a hot tag after the break, and then Action tagged back in. They double teamed White, but then when the referee was distracted, Juice Robinson trapped Action in the corner, and they double teamed him. White then got the win with the Blade Runner. No surprise here, and they continued the attack after the match was over with the Guns. We had footage shown of Willow Nightingale at Death Before Dishonor, which was the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. That took place on Friday night up against SmackDown. Like, I guess that's the only night they can do it. So what is it with Impact and Ring of Honor running against SmackDown? Just doesn't seem like the smartest idea, although maybe they feel like they have separate audiences at this point. We had Miro coming down to the ring for a match with Nick Camarado. Nick actually jumped Miro from behind while Miro was making his entrance. Got in a little bit of offense, but it was practically a squash. Miro quickly made his comeback and picked up the submission win with the game over. Not much to say about it. I feel like Miro still doesn't really have a direction. They're just having him come out there, beat people up, but they really don't have a story for this guy. Like, what's the deal? You had all this time to come up with something, and Tony Khan, the booker of the year, should know, like, okay, Miro's coming back. Well, let's put Miro in there with this guy, and we'll start planting the seeds for it. Nothing. Like, Miro's just there winning squash matches. We had an FTR video package highlighting some of their best moments in AEW up to this point. And then we had the Trios Tag Team title match. House of Black going up against the Acclaimed. Max Caster was doing his usual pre-match rap, and maybe he was going to say something about Dominic and Rhea Ripley, but Buddy Murphy made sure that did not happen because he went out there and gave Max this brutal knee strike to the face, and that set up the match. House of Black was dominating, and eventually Daddy Ass got the hot tag, had some momentum, but then he was clotheslined by Brody, and then Malachi Black finished off Billy with the Black Mass, got the 1-2-3 victory. House of Black, still your tag team trios champions. After the match was over, we had a moment that could be something. I mean, we'll have to wait and see where this is going. Billy Gunn took off his boots, which symbolically means somebody is retiring when they leave their boots in the ring. Crowd was chanting no. They were chanting, "You still got it." Billy went out of the ring. Acclaimed tried to talk to him, and he just walked right past them and stormed to the back. Is Billy Gunn retiring? Is he turning heel? What is going on here? Interesting little turn of events here. Billy does still have something. I mean, the guy comes out there, he's in better shape than most of the roster, and he's almost 60. We'll see what he does. We'll see if this really is a retirement or just a tease, and they're gonna build this to something else. We'll see. We had Tony Shivani interviewing FTR about next week's tag team title match. FTR going up against the world champion MJF and Adam Cole. And Cash Wheeler asked the fans and Adam Cole if they trust MJF. He doesn't. He brought up the Pinnacle as an example. And then Dax Harwood talked about how he doesn't feel that MJF and Adam Cole take the tag team titles seriously. They were out there dancing around, doing comedy. FTR, they're not going to be dancing. There's not going to be any comedy. There's just going to be an ass kicking on next week's show. City by the Bay says, which announced team do I like more? I do like the announced team on Collision. It's a change of pace. Of course, I do like Dynamite as well. They're both solid. I mean, neither of them are my favorite commentary team of all time, but both of them are good for now. I still wish we could get more Ronaldo, but nobody has stepped up to that level quite yet. We've had some interesting matches on the show, and we had Sky Blue versus Taya Valkyrie, which was a pretty decent match here. Not too shabby. Taya, I guess, is a full-blown heel now. She patted Sky Blue on the head, shoved her down, and the match went back and forth. Taya was mostly dominating, but Skye did make a comeback with a top rope crossbody. Taya was able to kick out of that, and then Taya caught Skye with a lariat and then won with her version of the curb stomp. After the match was over, Taya got on the mic and challenged Britt Baker to a match for next week's Dynamite, saying that Britt won last week against an extra, and let's see how she does against somebody who's actually established. We had a Blood and Guts video package, and then we had our main event, which went quite long. This match started around 9:30, which meant we were getting a half-hour main event here with Christian Cage and Ricky Starks against CM Punk and Darby Allin. Interesting, for sure. Christian and Ricky were arguing with each other about who was going to start the match with CM Punk. Ricky eventually had to do it. CM Punk tried to pin Ricky early. Crowd was chanting for CM Punk, but there were also people trying to boo out the chants with boos. Christian Cage tagged in, and he was getting beat up. He wanted Ricky to tag in, but Ricky was hesitant. But once Christian got the upper hand, Ricky was very quick to tag in, and the announcers hyped up this breaking news for after the commercial break. This is an interesting strategy here. The breaking news was next week it's Buddy Matthews versus Andrade in a ladder match with Andrade's mask on the line. Fun little tactic here. I don't know if it's going to work for them, but hey, why not? Why not see if it helps boost the quarter hour by hyping it up? I'm not sure it'll work a second time, but maybe it'll work in this case. Anyways, after the commercial break, we saw Scorpio Skye. He was in the crowd, or not the crowd, not really the crowd, but up there in one of the luxury boxes. He was watching. Darby came in, started building up some momentum, but then he went for a dive to Christian, and Luchasaurus stepped in, and Darby basically went into a brick wall. And they worked over Darby for a while. Christian missed the top rope splash. CM Punk tagged back in and did a Bam Bam Bigelow cartwheel as a tribute to him since they were in New Jersey. CM Punk delivered his trademark flying elbow, but Christian kicked out. And then we had Darby Allin and Ricky Starks tagging back in for their respective teams. Ricky hit the Rochambeau, but Darby kicked out. Punk went for the GTS to Christian, but Christian raked the eyes. Both of them were on the outside. Punk gave Christian the GTS, but the referee was distracted, and Luchasaurus ended up knocking Darby Allin off the top rope. Ricky managed to pin Darby Allin while grabbing the rope once again, cheating for the second week in a row. And there you go. Ricky Starks, Darby Allin Ricky Starks, Christian, and Luchasaurus celebrated after the match was over. And Ricky Starks gets one over on CM Punk again. Match was pretty solid. I don't know if it needed to be as long as it was, but it was a good match. And I like that Ricky picked up the win here, keeping his momentum going. But him being a heel might be a tough sell at this point. The crowd doesn't want to boo the guy, and they're booing CM Punk. And yeah, we could see where things end up next week, I should say, with CM Punk. But so far, he's getting booed in more cities than he's getting cheered. Now, they were in Canada. They were in New Jersey. Maybe in some of the other cities in the country, they'll like CM Punk. Only time will tell. But as of right now, seems like the Ricky Starks heel turn might be a challenge as far as getting people to actually boo the guy. All in all, it was a pretty decent show. I enjoyed it. Like, it's a nice flow, and it does feel different from Dynamite. So I'm going with a solid B for Collision. Good show. Nothing too over the top or particularly memorable, but everything on the show was solid. Good wrestling, good promos. They set up Dynamite. They set up next week's Collision. So they kept the ball rolling here, starting to build up All Out. So yeah, it was a good show. Solid effort from AEW. I still think that Blood and Guts was the best show of the week, but I mean, that's pretty much a given. Thank you all so much for watching tonight. Much love and appreciation, and hopefully we'll hear more from Big G with his thoughts. Obviously, he's disappointed that there was no Jeff Jarrett, but maybe we'll hear from him on the No DQ review, or at least in the chat room. Stay tuned for that. We will be back at our normal time, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Sunday night. We'll be talking about everything that's gone down this week, so tune in for that. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.